supports the baker's right of free speech, why doesn't the White House support the player's right to free speech?
The president doesn't think that this is an issue simply of free speech. He thinks it's about respecting the men and women of our military. It's about respecting our national anthem, and it's about standing out of pride for that. Sorry, take one last question.
Will he commit to a roundtable?
Police-involved shootings.
Will the president then, if it is about free speech and he supports these ideas, will the president commit to a roundtable with America's athletes on topics of social injustice?
Certainly be happy to ask him. See you.
Has he not considered, just for clarity, is it not something that has had any discussion to this point, given all the division in this country over this topic of social injustice?
Certainly we look at ways every single day to unify our country. The president has worked actively and tirelessly to be the president of all Americans. I think you can see that reflected in the policies that he's put forth. I think one of the biggest things that you've seen come out of this administration, frankly, that is far and vastly different than previous administrations, is providing economic opportunity for all Americans. And one of the greatest equalizers that we can have is to provide a level playing field, and the president has worked increasingly hard to make sure that that happens. Kevin spoke about that earlier, and he's going to continue to do that. Take one last question, Stephen.
This is about police-involved shootings.
Stephen.
Is the president aware that this is
Sorry,
about police-involved shootings and not about disrespecting the flag? Is the president aware
Stephen,
of that, Sarah,
if you
please?
could go
I
ahead.
understand you're going to Stephen, but I'm asking, there's an underlying issue, and it just keeps going about disrespect of the flag and soldiers. There are black and brown soldiers that fight in the military as well, who feel that taking a knee, bringing an attention to police-involved shootings is something that this White House should deal with. Is the president aware that taking the knee is about police-involved shootings?
The president has made his position crystal clear, and that it's about, I let you rudely interrupt me and your colleague. I'm going to ask that you allow me to finish my answer. I would be happy to answer it if you would stop talking long enough to let me do that. The president has made his position crystal clear on this topic. He feels strongly that standing for our national anthem is something that we should do, something that matters to what makes our country special and unique and what sets us apart. He's not going to waver on that, and he's not going to apologize for it. And frankly, more than 70% of Americans agree with him on that matter. If you go back to what the original intent was, this has been made a political argument of which the president is not going to back down from, and he's been clear on it. Stephen, last question. April, I've addressed your question. I'm not going to continue to engage with you. Stephen.
The NFL is now telling people they have to stand. Will the president deal with the issue of police-involved shootings?
I'm going to deal with the issue of addressing your colleague's question.
But it's a real question. Can you take it to the president and come back to us with it?
Stephen, go ahead.
Always happy to yield to a colleague.
CNN's April Ryan lost her mind during the White House press conference. Her screaming and ranting at Sarah Huckabee Sanders got so bad, even the reporter sitting in front of Ryan was appalled as he covered his face in embarrassment. Ryan's ranting involved bald-faced racist lies about President Donald Trump, causing Sarah to cut her mic. The press secretary then finished Ryan off with an epic smackdown. CNN's April Ryan and Jim Acosta have been having utter meltdowns all week long. It seems the leftist plan to oust President Donald Trump isn't going well, and it's causing these media nut jobs to act out. God only knows how Sarah Huckabee Sanders stays sane. April Ryan resorted to screaming racist lies. Ryan yelled, "There are black and brown soldiers that fight in the military as well who feel taking the knee, bringing attention to police-involved shootings is something that the White House should deal with." Is the president aware that taking the knee is about police-involved shootings? What? Where are these black and brown soldiers Ryan is screaming about? They seem to be a figment of her racist imagination. It got so bad, the reporter in front of Ryan at first laughed at her antics. Then he covered his face with his hands as the CNN nutjob got out of control. Wow. I hope Trump gives Sarah a raise, because she truly deserves it. The press secretary shuts down Ryan's mic and says, "I'll let you rudely interrupt me, and your colleague I would be happy to answer, if you would stop talking long enough to let me do that." Why does Sarah Sanders have to put up with the idiots at CNN? Sadly, there are still those people who are brainwashed watching CNN. If Sarah can handle their nonsense, which she can, these demonstrations of CNN reporters melting down helps Trump. showing their utter disregard for decorum, and the truth proves it's the mainstream media that can't be trusted. April Ryan wasn't finished. After Sarah Sanders shut her down, the bitter CNN reporter posted a bald-faced lie about Trump on Twitter. Breaking: reporters on the South Lawn have confirmed that Donald Trump was heckled and booed when he came out to celebrate America, tweeted Ryan. So, CNN's big breaking news story is President Donald Trump walks out to the South Lawn and gets heckled and booed. That sounds strange. But it must be true, right? It would be horrible to tweet this out coming from a mainstream news source, and with over 10,000 likes, it's a story people believe is true. Of course, Ryan's account is pure bullcrap. This is how low and destructive the mainstream media has become. It's why CNN is rightly called fake news. After a few hours, Ryan updates her Twitter feed, but doesn't mention that it's a correction. Breaking: reporters are watching the event and found a heckler in the crowd, started asking questions of Donald Trump, and the heckler was booed. The heckler was escorted out of the event. The boos were for the heckler, tweets Ryan. This is the game played by our mainstream media. They report lies that make brainwashed idiots think, yep, Trump is sure hated, or Trump is racist. It reinforces their narrative, and it's a crime as far as I'm concerned. Why do we have a free press? Is not the free press our last line of defense against losing our country and our rights? The power to sway the mob is a power given to the press. This is exactly why social media is shutting down conservative voices. They realize the power that citizen journalists had in reporting the truth, and those leftists in power over social media want to shut us all down. We cannot trust CNN or MSNBC. We cannot trust the New York Times or most newspapers in America. CNN's Jim Acosta and April Ryan are examples of purveyors of left-wing lies. It's time for patriots to remain in the fight. We could easily lose all the ground we have gained under President Trump. Each of us must do what we can to make sure the truth is shared with as many Americans as we can reach.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.